If you're watching this video, then you must be a new member of Partnership. First of all, I want to take a moment and welcome you. We're so glad that you're a part of our group, and we're thrilled that we get to know you better this year. My name is Kate Yoakum. I'm one of the leadership team members for Partnership Homeschool Co-op. And as our name indicates, we do have a leadership team of people that help us do this job and really keep everything running behind the scenes. That list of people is on our website because it changes from year to year, so please take a peek so that you know the names of the people that you can go to if you have any questions. So I am going to start off by just going through some of our orientation with you. And the reason we do it this way is that we found in a meeting setting that things were getting very confusing and we were going over information so quickly that people were feeling overwhelmed. And that is not what we want to have happen. We would like for you to be able to absorb this information in your own time and get to know us as a co-op and be able to feel comfortable. So I hope that you're at home and comfortable, and if you're in your jammies, that's totally fine, no big deal. This is my home that we're in right now. We're actually in my basement at my desk. So I'm inviting you into my home to just sit back and relax and learn a little bit about Partnership. I do have my notes on the table, so from time to time if I'm looking down, that's why. There's not a really fascinating bug on the table or anything like that. So the first thing I want to start off by telling you about is about our website. And if you're here and at the video, you've obviously been on the website because that's how you found it. I want to let you know that it's super, super important that you become familiar with the website and use it. We do a lot of communicating online. So if you're not a real super technical savvy person, that's totally fine. Our website is very user-friendly, and we're happy to help you walk through it. But I would suggest that if you're not a person who checks your email regularly, you're going to need to check your email regularly. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on key information, and your children are going to miss out on key information that has to do with their classes. We find this to be true every year, that there's invariably somebody who hasn't checked that ends up coming to class unprepared, and it's really kind of heartbreaking for that child then if they don't have something that's needed for a project that day. So please check your email frequently because you will get email messages. Now within that, I just want to warn you that you're going to get email messages frequently, so don't let that scare you. It's just how we communicate. If you don't like getting individual emails, there is a way to change that on the website. And we do have a whole separate video that walks you through different things you can do on the website, kind of gives you a tour, also helps you change settings. So if you don't want individual emails, if you just want all the emails that came in for one day in one digest, you can totally do that. So I will defer to that video for your technical questions on how to do all that, or if you're still having trouble after watching that video, please give one of us a call. We're happy to talk you through or get together and walk you through the process on how to get set up and how to make things smooth for you. One of the things that we do on the website is the Forums tab. So when you go to Forums, that's basically discussion groups, and most people who use the internet at all are familiar with forums. We do have separate forums for every single class we have at Partnership, as well as extracurricular stuff and fun recipes we want to talk about and things like that. So if you have a question about your child's class and you're not sure about something, you could email the teacher directly, or you can post a question on the forum under that class tab, and everybody in the class will get it. And so maybe if the teacher doesn't see it right away, somebody else will have the answer and be able to respond to you quickly and get back to you in a timely manner. So the other thing that we get asked frequently right away is how do we register for classes? We have an entire process that we go through for choosing our classes here at Partnership. Now, if you're a brand new member, you have not been included in that process this year, but you will be next year. So I'm just going to take a minute and explain how Partnership does things because it's typically pretty different from the way a lot of other co-ops function. Our co-op put together last year a list of a rotation of classes. This means that since we focus on science and history, we already have laid out for the next several years what we're going to do for science and what we're going to do for history. So that's already been taken care of. And we base that rotation off of several years of classes that we've done. Partnership's been around over 20 years, which means that we've learned a little bit of things the hard way, unfortunately. And so we found for our co-op the curriculums that work really, really good. And we found that there's some that just don't work, and so we're not going to use them again. So if you're wondering why in particular we picked a curriculum to use for a class, that's why. It's because we've done it once. It was very wonderful. It was a good class, and it was something that anybody could step into as a teacher, and the curriculum fully supported them. And that is a key thing, being that we're all parents who are teaching these classes. We want a curriculum that's going to help us succeed. We don't want to have a whole lot of extra work at home on top of what we're already doing. We're busy, and we want something that's going to be successful for us. And these are the things that we found that are. As far as our older kids and the middle schoolers and high schoolers, what we do each year is we do have a rotation set for certain classes, but we also have suggestions that we take. And so you'll see in about November, you're going to see some emails go out. Sometimes we've had a whiteboard propped up for people to do discussions on what should we offer for the high schoolers next year. The reason that we do this is because while we will have 2 set classes, we always offer 2 classes every hour for our high schoolers, and we find that there's a lot of people trying to fill in towards the end here. You know, we're getting down those last 4 years. We want to make sure our kids get what they want and what they need to move on to what their goals are. If it's college, if it's tech school, whatever, we want to make sure that they get what they need, and so they can check things off. So what we have chosen to do is only set 2 classes because we want to be able to capitalize on the strengths of the people in our group. For instance, I will say that we have had people in our group that are exceptionally gifted at photography that have taught a photography class. We have some people who are passionate about history that have taught history classes. We've had some people that are extremely gifted in science and have wanted to teach a biology class, and so we've done that. We have gone with, for our rotation, what we know we can do regularly that pretty much anybody can teach and it'll be okay. So we try to fill in with other things that are specific skill sets in our group, or maybe we haven't done a class, maybe we haven't done psychology in 5 years, and hey, it's about time we did psychology again, let's do that. For our middle schoolers, we do a writing class, and it depends on the year, but we typically bring that in at about the year that we feel that they're mature enough to handle it. So we try not to introduce it too early, usually about 6th and 7th grade. So it's about those years. It varies from year to year based on our rotation. But we have the IEW program that we use. It's fantastic. If you're not familiar with IEW, I strongly encourage you to just go out and watch a few of their videos. My son hated writing, and when he took this class, it was his favorite. So it's a very great class that starts them off in little steps, and it helps walk them through it. And then aside from the writing class, we all vote on, do we want the kids to do history or do we want the kids to do science on the other hour? And that just goes year to year. They'll follow whatever the younger kids are doing so that we can keep families together, because that's part of why we homeschool, right? So that's the way some of our classes are decided. As far as registering, we're going to have a whole separate video on a step-by-step of how to register. But I do want to let you know that it starts about the end of June to beginning of July. That depends on how much information we're getting from people to be able to set it up in the system. So once we have it set up and ready to go, we'll announce, along with instructions for how to register, when the start dates are. And you will want to register pretty quickly. Obviously, we know that first and second hour are set classes, but for those kids who do get to choose a third-hour elective class, they can fill up. So if your child is super passionate about wanting to take underwater basket weaving for their third-hour class, you may want to get on there and register them to make sure they get a spot. Once our classes are done registering, we'll tally up the rosters for each class and get a copy of those to teachers. And then we'll go into our payment phase. Payments are due for classes on August 1st, and that payment will include your first semester dues. If you're watching this video, the chances are you've already paid your deposit, which is super important. It lets us know that you're definitely coming. So if we don't have your deposit, we do not allow you to register for classes. So that's really important to get to us so that you are able to register for classes. So our first semester dues will be due August 1st, along with the class fees. Now, if you go to the website and you look on this side, the left-hand side, you'll see class registration. In there, you see all the detail for every single class that we're going to offer. Who's going to teach it? What text do I need to find? Are there packets I need to purchase? It will also list a class fee. Obviously, classes are going to need a budget. And the class fee is what those teachers have determined they're going to need for their budget for this year, and they've divided it out by the number of students that they're projecting they're going to have in their class, so that they know that once they collect those fees, they have the budget they're going to need to be able to do the science experiments, to be able to do the projects that they're going to do in history and things like that. Our teachers are amazing, and I am always fantastically amazed at what they come up with to do. Sometimes we've had wonderful speakers from the U of M come out. It takes gas, and so we like to pay them a little stipend to be able to take care of that. We've also had fabulous owl pellet dissections in science before. Those things cost. So don't be scared off by the class registration fee at all. Just know that that's going towards your child's class and the budget. And we've been very cautious about doing our research outside and checking out what the other co-ops in the area are charging, and we try to be extremely frugal with what we charge. So we've asked people to just really think on that. If we have money left in the budget at the end of the year, the chances are very good that that will be just refunded back to the families. We haven't typically ended with a positive balance often, so our teachers are really good about that. Okay, so with money being due August 1st, how much is that going to be? Well, that depends on your classes that you sign up for. You'll see the first semester dues will be a certain amount, and I'm not going to say because that changes year to year, and you could just have to look. And so you'll have everything that you know you need to pay for your students, and then that payment's due August 1st. However, I do want to let you know that if you guys have a financial hardship going on, please talk to us. We can take some payments if that makes things easier for you. We just need to be able to pay certain bills on our end, and we need to be able to work with you. So please don't let a money issue be the reason that you guys may pull out a partnership or something like that. Come to one of us. There are possibilities also for scholarships if you are in a hardship position. Okay, so this is the first aid kit, and obviously it's used for bumps and bruises. I would love to tell you that we never have accidents at partnership, that nobody ever gets hurt. It's not true. It happens, so we've prepared for it. This will always be in the mom's room area, so if you have an injury and you need a student to get some Band-Aids or what have you, this will be where the mom's room is, and you can bring the student to the first aid kit just to remove the distraction from the classroom and let class continue once the students know that that person's going to be okay. We do also sometimes have a nurse on our in partnership. We do sometimes have nurses, and right now we have 3, which is great. And if that's true, we'll announce that at our meetings and stuff so that you know the person who you can go to if you're concerned that it's more than just a bump and bruise and may need some medical attention. They might be a great resource for you to use. The next one I want to show you is the name tags. We all know what name tags are, and we all know what they're for. This is what ours look like. They're a little clip, and they're in a little holder. I'd like you to impress upon your students that the name tags go up here where they can be seen. Every year we have kids that are trying to be cute and they want to wear them down here on their hip where nobody can see them, or on their pant leg, and that's not helpful. So we want them to be worn at the chest level so that the teacher can see their name. Aside from the name, there's also some really important information. It will also have the class they're in and their allergies listed so that you don't accidentally give food they can't have to them. These are also pretty sturdy, but if you see kids chewing on them, please tell them to stop. It's not food, so we don't put it in our mouth. And the other thing we do is we color code them by class so that it's easy to sort them and get them all in the same area. We have them separated by bags. So for instance, this one is the kindergarten first graders. They were all bright orange last year. We haven't sorted them out from the previous year right now. So these are all the kindergarten first graders. So how we work this is that we keep this box in our assembly area, and after announcement time or right before we start announcements, we ask first hour teachers to go and grab the bag for their corresponding class. So if you're the first grade, or the kindergarten and first grade first hour teacher, then you go grab this bag and you pass out the name tags to the kids when they get there and when you guys get to class together. Makes it much easier. So look for this box. It's for name tags, and it's kind of important. The next one I'm going to show you is called the box. Yeah, we do everything by thes at Partnership. So this is called the box. This is the parent inbox, and outbox for that matter. So my name starts with a Y, so I'm at the back. So right here you can see this is my folder. It says Yoakum on it. On the inside of that folder is my name, the city that I'm from, and my children's names. That way, if you have several families with the same last name, one year we had 3 Petersons in our group, you can look for the correct folder right on the inside for where the child that you're turning homework back for, where Landon Peterson is. You can look on the inside tab and see which actual folder he goes in. It's very helpful. And so this is what we use to pass information back and forth. You can pass things out here. If you have Christmas cards you want to pass out, that's great. Or I can't think of too many things right off the top of my head, but anything you want to pass out to the whole group. This is also where we pass homework out for younger kids. So if your students are maybe 2nd, 3rd grade and younger, and you're really not sure they'd actually get the homework home, this is a great place to put it. You can put it by their last name, put it in the parent box, they will receive the homework. As the children are progressing and getting older, we do expect them to take responsibility for their homework, and so you can assess that and ask us about it if you think, well, should I pass the homework out to the kids or should I pass it out in the box? And we can talk about that and help you decide what you think is best. But this is where we do that, and it's also where you can return homework then once it's corrected. When you go to the box at the back, you will see the book. The book is where we keep pretty much everything that you would need to access possibly on the day of partnership. Obviously, we have class registration and class rosters, but we may not be able to have a computer there that day to access it. So all the class rosters will be in here. There'll be a list of all the families and phone numbers. There'll be descriptions of classes. There'll be a closers list, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's just a great way for us to have all the pertinent information we need at our fingertips should there be an issue. So what are these nifty things that are in the front of the folder? Well, these are our little medallions that help us know who's actually helping and volunteering in the nursery this particular day. So one of the things we do, and I'll get to it later, is volunteering in the nursery. And so when it's your week, you'll wear one of these so that if you happen to be sitting during 2nd hour and it's getting towards the end, somebody might see you say, have 3rd hour nursery on and go, hey, Kate, it's almost time for 3rd hour. You might want to get going. It helps me not forget. So those are in the front of the book as well, and we pass those out during assembly time so everybody knows who is supposed to be volunteering. So if you have a question on something, you can check here first, or you can ask one of us. That's fine. All right, the next thing we have is the rules. Yes, every group has them, right? And we're no different. Let me scooch that back out of the way. If you go to our website, under the Forms section, you will find a list of the rules. And if we had emailed you a copy of the handbook, this is also listed in the handbook. It was required for you to read it and click yes before you were allowed to sign up for the group, so we know that you've read it. It's very important that you read it to your children, and they understand these are the rules of partnership that are going to be upheld. We do also have a fun little video that we put together that we'll be showing at the beginning of the year to help kind of make it a little fun for them and make sure everybody understands the rules, and we're going forward with expectations. But we really do stand by these, and there's reasons we have them. Over 20 years, these rules have provided us really, really great framework for keeping people safe. The one I want to clarify on here is one of our bullets is dress appropriately, no bellies, no bra straps or boxers showing, please. We put that because one year a kid came up to us and said, so do you mean I can't wear boxers at all? And no, I'm not checking to see if you're wearing boxers. We just don't want to see them. So that was our reason for making that rule. Okay. And for our dress code, like I said, no bellies, no bra straps, no boxers. If for some reason there's somebody that isn't dressed appropriately and they're showing bra straps or what, we'll probably mention it to them and just say, hey, can you tuck that in? But if it continues to be an issue, we do have a T-shirt that we'll ask them to put on. It's nothing embarrassing. It's just we want to respect the people around us and not distract during class time. Okay, so one of our rules also is that we refer to everybody as Miss. Well, Miss if they're an assistant, but Mrs. or Mr. We do have some of our dads come and teach, so we do expect everyone to be addressed as Mr. or Mrs. So I cannot, if I have kids in my class who've known me since they were babies and they're used to calling me Kate, sorry, for the purposes of partnership, it's Mrs. Yoakum. So even if these kids have known you for years, obviously if they're your kid, they can call you Mom, that's fine, but we do ask that they show deference and respect at partnership. It just helps them give that one little more step of respect that this is my teacher who I need to respect and look up to and see in a position of authority. Because of that, we do ask that everybody participate in partnership because we want respect for everybody. We do ask that everybody say at the beginning of the year, I am everybody's mom. So everybody at partnership, you are their mom. You have the authority to enforce the rules that we have set forth. So you don't have to worry about, well, yeah, they're jumping on the couch and they really shouldn't do that, but I'm not their mom. No, you have the authority to go over and tell them to stop it and get off the couch. So we want everybody to act within that and say, don't let stuff happen that shouldn't be. But we also want to say, if that person's mom is standing right there, please don't jump in and be real authoritarian because they may be in the middle of dealing with it. So just be aware of that and try to be respectful with it. We don't need to jump down the kids' throats. Sometimes they're just full of energy and want to run and jump and play, and they just need to be told to tone it down a sec. And so we all work together with that. It's great. Okay, so during the year, right now we're in summer mode, and so we're all kind of getting ready for our classes and what we're going to teach. When we are meeting during the year, what is expected of you? So we do have 3 expectations that we set forth for volunteering at Partnership, and that is the nursery and the mom's room and cleanup. And cleanup works a little bit differently every year, so I'm going to defer to whatever the leadership team decides for the year. So you're going to want to be sure to watch for announcements on how that's going to work in that. But everybody is responsible to help clean up at the end of the day, and each year that looks a little different. So make sure you are aware of what's expected of you so that you can participate and the group can be able to leave quickly and not be stuck there cleaning a real long time. We also want to respect the church building that we're in because we're renting it, but it is a blessing that we're there, and we don't want to ever leave a bad taste in the church's mouth about homeschoolers or about us in general. We want to be a blessing. We want them to be wowed by us, and so that's kind of the spirit we go into it with. As far as the nursery goes, we have a capacity of 10 in our nursery, and we will have people who that is their job. That is their teaching role for the year, is the nursery. And it's an extremely important job. Let's just be honest. When we had babies, we wanted to know they were loved and cared for and just really adored. So those people who are in the nursery every week are super important because they are helping the parents who are teaching in other classes to feel secure that their little one is being loved dearly. So we really, really appreciate all of our teachers, not just the ones of the older kids. I appreciate the nursery people tremendously. And so with that, we want to offer them support. We don't want to leave just one teacher in there with 10 children. What we do is we each take a turn rotating in as a volunteer with the teacher every week. So for partnership purposes, every semester, and we have 2, so every semester you will be asked to volunteer in the nursery once. Once per semester is not bad. So we use Sign Up Genius for this right now, and so sometime during the setup process during the summer, we will send out a message that says, okay, it's time to sign up for your nursery shifts. And this is where you can jump on Sign Up Genius and just sign yourself up. It's super easy to use. If you've never used the website before, don't worry. It's very, very easy. The nice thing about it, too, is that it will remind you the week before. So you will get an email saying, hey, you volunteered in the nursery this week, which is great because guess what? I forget stuff. And sometimes it doesn't make it on my calendar, and I can use an email reminder. So when it's your turn to volunteer in the nursery, we ask you to be there right away at the start of the hour and to stay the entire time and just be an assistant to that person. There's going to be a lot of snuggling, book reading, playing with the little ones. It's not difficult at all. It's just a lot of fun. And we get to do it once a semester. The other thing we get to do once a semester is bring food for the mom's room. Now, in your Sign Up Genius sign up, this is another thing that you get to do. You can sign up. Now, if you want to get it all done right away and do it the same day as you're in the nursery and then you're done, totally fine. You can do that. But if you want to spread them out and do it a different day, that's totally fine too. Not a big deal. Totally up to you. But why we have food in the mom's room is that, let's just face it, we all fellowship and really enjoy food. And I find quite frequently on a Thursday when I'm busy and rushing out the door that I forget, I feed everybody else, but I forget to feed myself. So we started bringing food to share just to bless each other. So this is your opportunity to bless the other moms in partnership as well. And what we ask you to do is remember there are 30 plus families, so bring something large. A lot of times people bring a crock pot of soup or a casserole or something like that to share. And so bring something large like that, and then bring a side dish. It could be, veggies, it could be fruit, it could be a dessert, whatever. What we just want to stress with this is that we don't want it to be stressful. Make it something easy. If you don't like to cook, Walmart's great. Stop by and pick something up. That's totally fine. We're just trying to bless each other and kind of love on each other in that way. So once a semester, you volunteer in the nursery and you volunteer to bring mom's food for the moms. Okay? And then we all take a crack at closing. As far as the leadership team members go, I'm not going to get into specifics here because several times they will change, and so I don't want to narrow down who's who, so we have to make a new video each time. But just know that you can ask questions of anybody, and they'd be happy to help you out. Or you can give us a call, too, if you don't want to ask them on a Thursday. All right, what do you do if your kids are sick? Please, if your kids are sick, don't come. We don't want your child to spread it, and that's just being realistic. We don't appreciate getting a cold from somebody else, so if you know your child is sick, then please don't come. If that means that you can't come, then that's where the forum comes in, and it's really great. You can just toss a note out and say, Johnny's sick, I need help. Can somebody cover my 3rd and 4th grade science class today? Missy's going to be teaching, but I need somebody to be in there as an extra pair of hands. People are really great, and we step up and help each other out all the time. You could also call if you don't want to throw a message out there and you just want to call people individually. You can do that. But we would like you to try to find a replacement because it's really awkward when we're standing up there making announcements and we know we don't have a teacher in there and we have to kind of stand there until someone volunteers. So it's great if we can work that out ahead of time. But if you are on the way to co-op and suddenly somebody throws up in the car and you got to turn around and go home, give me a call on my cell phone. I am always at the church early and I'm happy to try and find somebody to fit in your class for you. So just know that we would rather that you take care of your little ones that need you than worry about the class. We'll figure that out. Okay, so what does a day at partnership look like? Well, I would be happy to go through that with you. Unfortunately, this video has gotten a little long, and I don't want to overwhelm you at this time. So we're going to stop here with the orientation. That's the basic gist of what you need to know to be a member of partnership. So welcome aboard. If you get a sec and you want to watch the second video, it's called A Day at Partnership, and it will walk you through step by step what a day at partnership will look like. Thanks a bunch and welcome aboard.